Check one. Check two.
Check one, check two.
This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour.
Hey.
Hey. I'm your host, Rob Cantrell. I'm in a special place with a special guest. This is episode 315. We are here at Housing Works Cannabis Company, the very first cannabis store in New York City, and I'm with one of the executives, the top VP of sales in retail. Please give it up for the one and only Sasha Nutgent, everybody.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for being
I love
here.
that intro.
I know it's a little bit over the top, but we got to give them something.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
The internet's layered with all types of videos, but nothing like this, Sasha.
Not at all.
So thank you. Right now, we are in the bottom layer. I got to go to the Batman cave of the Housing Works, which is one of the better dispensaries around. The cleanest and meanest
Thank
and
you.
first. But Sasha, before I ramble on too much, give me your official title here at Housing Works Cannabis Company.
Yeah, I am the Vice President of Cannabis Retail at Housing Works Cannabis, so I oversee all retail activities and making sure the store is up to standard and up to par.
And you've been here since day one.
Yes, since day one, but I've been with Housing Works for 10 years prior.
And even before cannabis, you were enjoying working for a nonprofit, which is what's really cool about Housing Works is that this is all about the community.
Absolutely, 100% of our proceeds go back into our mission, so yes.
That is so amazing. And you're providing cool jobs for cool people.
Yeah, and I love that about it. I like to give back, and we love to train people and, incorporate them into our entire business model. So,
In terms of, so what was the first date that you guys opened? Do you remember? I remember because I was here.
It was December 29th, 2022 at 4:20 p.m. and we closed at 7:10, or we tried to.
Yeah.
It was intense. It was a mob of people outside, but it was a lot of fun.
It was a line down the street.
It definitely was.
And shout out to Will Libby and Back Home Cannabis. I came here and got a bag of Space Queen.
Yeah.
Which is great outdoor grown cannabis in New York State, upstate, as they say. Now, I read that you're a Brooklyn native.
Yes, I am.
So it must be a trip for you to see the evolution and it even progressing beyond 2 years ago. It seems like even 2 years ago it feels almost caveman-like we're in some other new thing.
Things have completely changed in New York. I mean, you can go outside in any corner, you're going to smell cannabis. And it's cool. It's cool that we've evolved and we've come into the future. And I'm really glad to be selling cannabis in New York City.
Yeah, and thank God it's clean and it's regulated. A lot of people are down on government weed or whatever, and I am not. Because the bodega weed throughout from 2017 to 2020 really got sprayed on and stepped on and really dangerous, especially with the kids with the fentanyl popping up.
Yeah.
It got really sketch. So it almost felt like a godsend when Housing Works got here that you can get real cannabis that you knew wasn't stepped on or grown weird or, every business, if the business has good heart, it's usually the product has good heart.
Absolutely, and I think that it's really important for people to shop legally because it's the safety aspect of it. You don't have to worry about, like you said, fentanyl scares or mold in your cannabis product that's going to make you sick. So that's what I like about working in the legal or operating in the legal side of cannabis.
Yes, you are creating an alternative and a safe alternative to alcohol and cigarettes that's dominated the society and has led to a lot of health problems. I'm not saying that cannabis is perfect, but at the same time, if you're gonna go into your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, alcohol and cigarettes isn't the way to go.
No, definitely not.
We've all been around the block that we've learned that. Right now, I guess with New York State, the scene here, how good are these companies coming up and how strong are some of these mom and pop? As we said, we know I told you I knew Back Home and Will Libby, and that's kind of a mom and pop shop. Lobo, I'm a big fan of. All of them I'm a big fan of, but what are you seeing on the inside with some of these companies?
New York companies, first of all, we like to support Black-owned, small businesses. Those are the ones that we really want to uplift at Housing Works Cannabis Co.
Yes, that's the community.
Specifically like the mom and pops, like Will from Back Home Cannabis. It's really cool to see his growth from the day one. He was one of our first vendors in here, and now he has like a totally fantastic product, which is milkweed, and then Back Home Cannabis has really blasted onto the scene. It's really great quality, and it's New York grown, and it really is an attestation to what New York can offer people. So
yeah, you're right. With the evolution of outdoor to indoor is what he was describing to me, and milkweed is his new indoor product.
Yeah.
And that's what all the California heads and Colorado heads used to downplay New York for not having strong indoor. But our outdoor is almost as strong as regular people's indoor.
Yeah.
And now our indoor, these guys are going sci-fi.
They really are. I heard he plays music. Like I heard it's a really good experience with the growth of the plant. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta play some dub
Yeah.
reggae. You gotta play some Grateful Dead. You gotta play some classical. You gotta play something that that eases nature into existence.
Exactly.
And it's an exciting field that you're in, and an exciting growth, expanding. Like you can just say, they have lockers back here for all the employees. All the employees don't seem bummed to be here. They keep it moving. They got good jobs.
Yeah.
They're doing something they like. And the thing about cannabis is you get to be around creative people. You get to be around, it's not just, music, you get to be around actors. I don't know, the arts and cannabis has always been kind of hand in hand.
Definitely
Wouldn't you
hand in
say,
hand.
and especially in New York City?
Yeah, we see a lot of artsy people shop with us. We have actors come in. I won't name their names, but there's a lot of actors, A-list celebrities that come in and stop by. So I agree that cannabis and entertainment go hand in hand, and it's New York is an excellent place for those things to meet and interact.
Yes. Now, the other cannabis that is minority owned that I love is Fab Five Freddy's company, which is
Be Noble.
Be Noble. Be Noble Espresso, especially, is one of my favorite strains. And Be Noble, they do 2-packs. But do you guys work with Be Noble?
We used to carry them, yes. We carried them for a brief stint, and it sold really well, yeah.
So these companies kind of every 6 months, you guys go to the table, and and that's the thing about cannabis, it's not an automatic machine. These people are growing this.
Yeah.
So it comes in kind of tides of who's hopping and who's not. Right now, I saw on your website what made me excited. You had Native American weed, right?
We literally just started carrying that yesterday or the day before, and we started carrying. We're excited about that. The staff is excited about it as well. So,
have you tried some of the Native American weed
not yet? I have not tried it yet, and I'm waiting for some feedback from the staff to see if they love it. So.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I think. It's because it's always changing, and that's a big thing with New York, especially upstate New York, that there is so much Native American communities, and it's providing grow jobs and small business opportunities. And then they're connecting with the city, which you guys are. You guys are right here in the middle of it all, on Broadway.
Yes.
Knocking it out. Now, you also do deliveries, right?
We do delivery. We were the first to launch delivery in the state of New York, but Housing Works has a very robust history with deliveries for our thrifts, so we had the operation side of it under control.
Gotcha. Now, when you switched over from Housing Works, because you were explaining to me, now Housing Works did, for the gay community, they funded AIDS tests and help with medication for the gay community here. And then also we're hand in hand helping the homeless community, finding jobs, finding homes, finding clothes, all of the stuff that's, on the, with all the current political environment right now is in dire need because sometimes people slip through the cracks. That's just a part of the life. Not everybody gets a slice of the good pie. And you need people or safety nets in society to help that stuff. Are you worried about what's the new trend here in New York City about legal cannabis? Is Is the numbers good, or are people pulling back?
The numbers are still good. There has obviously been a slight downtick with numbers because we have over 300 locations to shop for cannabis at this point.
Yes.
So the market compression and the price compression and things like that are going on. As far as what's happening with this administration, it is concerning because, you know, it's going to affect pretty much everything, especially the tariffs.
Yeah.
Processors have to deal with it. You know, the packaging, the labels, things like that are all going to be affected.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
You're right.
It's all going to be affected. It's going to affect the cost, but we are still doing and seeing good numbers.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I think cannabis is on the rise right now. And I know people that are of my age. I'm Gen X. And it's the safer alternative than going off and drinking bourbon and wine throughout your 50s and 60s. Because your gut's gonna fall out if you have some if you have some good cannabis. You know, you can come home and rock out some music. Now, what about your family when you switched over from Housing Works, when it was just kind of you were helping, you know, it was kind of a regular little store before. What did your parents think of you switching into cannabis?
My mom was she was supportive. To be honest, and people know this about me and my backstory, I only started consuming cannabis when it was legal, which is like when we opened. Nothing against it. I never did it. And, you know, I was a little afraid because a lot of my friends and associates have gotten in trouble, you know, either through selling or consuming, and I was afraid of it. So my mom supported me. She was a stoner back in the day, and my father as well. And they just liked that I made the transition. Really proud of me.
Yeah, I would say it's just kind of a booming industry, and to get in it on the ground floor is an exciting and smart move. But you're right. I didn't start smoking until I was in college, and I always say, definitely let your brain grow.
Yeah.
You know, let your brain grow.
Develop.
Get to 21. If you can get to 21 without smoking and drinking, and then, you know, the world will be your oyster after that point, because young people, your brains are still growing. You haven't figured out who you are. I know you think you know who you are.
You don't know yet.
You don't know. And it's always changing, and let me tell you, it's exciting. And it will feel better down the line.
Yeah.
Whereas some of this weed out here is really strong and crazy. So, yeah. Just make sure it's legal on the up and up.
I had my first joint at the staff appreciation party with all of our staff, like, egging me on, like, do it. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. And it was fun. It felt great. And, like, now every other day I'll, you know, take a puff here and there, an edible, and it just makes me feel like part of this community a little bit more. So
yeah, and at the end of the day, and especially as my knees get messed up, and in this cold hard city, all our feet are hurting, we're just banging on this concrete all the time, you definitely need some good cannabis at the end of the day to put your feet up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in terms of, I mean, we don't want to talk all numbers and everything like that, but what are the 3 top brands here in New York that you see on the come up, like, oh, they're doing something?
Yeah, Heirloom is one of them. Florist Farms is another. Those are like the top 2. And then
Heirloom, not to stop you, but Heirloom is more of edibles. Like, isn't that their big game?
They do edibles, but they also just launched pre-rolls.
Okay.
Yeah, Florist Farms. And then, of course, one to watch is Back Home and Milkweed. It's really exciting to see the growth of Will. And it's a small farm, and he's a small farmer. A couple of other ones that we carry. Electroleaf is another big seller.
Yes.
Eterna Cannabis, those things really fly out of here. And I feel like I'm missing one, but it'll come to me. It will come to me.
It'll come to you. And what's the vibe when do you arrive here at the store?
I get here at 7 a.m. every
Time to make the donuts.
I make the donuts. I do a lot of back work, so I do like community engagement, business partnerships, things like that. I do a lot of payroll, so I get here really early before the store opens, and I assist with like opening as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what a great job to roll in.
Thank you.
And come to in the city, and it's good smelling, and it's kind people, and. Now, in terms of music, what are you listening to? We'll give them a little bit of that right now.
I'm a millennial, and
Yes.
I'm listening to old R&B from the 90s. It's like my favorite thing to do. But I have
Jodeci?
Yeah, Jodeci,
All day, yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
I have a musical background, so I
Oh,
also,
nice.
yeah, I was a songwriter at one point. I was signed. I sing and write for like other brands and things like that. So that's what I do. I'm obsessed with music
Yes.
and art as well.
Art and music and cannabis really do go hand in
Yeah.
hand. So you do have the best day
I do.
job for, and I won't say inspiring thing. Like you said, you got signed
Yeah.
very early on. And that is me, I've done acting and I've done stand-up comedy. So I understand showbiz a
Yeah.
little bit. And so once you start signing contracts, it gets a little bit tricky.
It does.
And you learned at a young age, what to sign. And now the industry's changing so fast.
Completely changed. It's all about like brand partnerships and who you're going to work with as opposed to like the art behind it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've discovered. And I also discovered that wasn't for me. Like the center of attention thing was not my vibe. I prefer to be in the background, which is why I do songwriting and also why I work here.
Oh, you do songwriting.
Yeah.
And I love you working here. And songwriting is fascinating. I did release a music album in 2021, just on TuneCore, did it myself. But I made sure I made all the beats and did all the production
Nice.
and got it mixed. And that was like my pandemic goal.
That's cool.
When it would lock down, I was like, okay, I'm just going to
Yes.
focus. Now with Bandcamp, everybody should
Yes.
be rocking it. But tell me about your songwriting process, because this is a comedy podcast as well, so we have a lot of writers and direct. We're all aspiring type creatives. What's your songwriting process?
I generally sit with the artist and I try to get a feel for what they want to talk about, what they want to discuss. Sometimes it includes cannabis. Sometimes it includes them rolling up an edible, whatever it is, to get into the mood, and we go from there. So they'll give me an idea, I come up with a top line, and then we work on, verse, hook, bridge, whatever it is.
Yeah, you got to get a good hook, and then you need 3 verses.
Yes.
And the first line, and so you're getting a vibe from the artists themselves.
Yeah.
Being creative is so fascinating, and it goes hand in hand with cannabis because you're kind of reaching for the unknown.
Yes.
And with cannabis, we're kind of reaching for the unknown. Like nobody knew what this market was going to be. Nobody knew what legal cannabis in New York City is going to be.
And we still kind of don't. Like it's still developing. We're still a nascent business. People are still learning the ins and outs. The regulations are constantly changing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's constantly changing, and because it was in the darkness and because it was hid for so long, I just don't think people figured it out about driving or in front of people in public or how it's going to be. What I say for the stoners out there, class it up a little bit.
Yes, please.
Don't class it up. Okay, we know you like to roll up in your car and you like to roll up in the park in front of kids. Try not to.
Yes.
Try to
yes.
keep it cool,
Yeah.
because we're right at a point where it could all go wrong. So try to, if you're down with the flower, if you're down for the herb for real, treat it with respect.
Have some couth.
Yeah, have some couth about it. Don't blaze up right in the city hall or even the dispensary here. Nobody's really blazing up in this spot.
No. We don't let people smoke directly outside. Obviously, it's New York State law or New York law. But, smoke not where there's children. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Don't blow it in anybody's face and keep it moving. You know what's up. New York is what it is. I, for one, love it. People complain about the herb smell, but New York City, I love walking. I love pizza, and I love herb. So I can walk 20,000 steps. I can have 3 slices of pizza and smoke a joint during the day. And you can't do that in Ohio.
Definitely can. And in this New York, you could, every single block, you're going to smell it. Every single block. You can't escape it. It's kind of cool, though.
It is kind of cool. It's better than cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I do remember going into bars and just smelling like cigarettes when I got home.
Yeah.
People throwing up, people fighting.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of cannabis events for High Times early on, and they would be, these cannabis cups, and they were huge events. And they would have major artists like Currency, or, they would book some major hip hop acts. But the thing that I always noticed was there was never any violence at these things.
I mean, cannabis.
It's cannabis. Yeah. People are going to chill out no matter what. The whole fighting, like when you go to a big show and people are going off on each other, that usually stems from alcohol.
Alcohol, definitely. I've never seen an aggressive stoner.
Yeah, I've seen a few, but I've seen a couple, but it usually chills them out. It chills me out. I do know that's one of the things that I like about it. Growing older as a man, you get grumpier and meaner, and it seems to take the edge off. That's why I keep on coming back to it, so I can still be nice to people, and even though my knees are hurt. And I got a bunion on my toe that just will not go away. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm putting tea tree oil. I'm figuring it out.
So wait. So when men get older, they get more grumpy.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Got it.
Good to know, yeah. And so get them moving and get them smoking weed.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the gig about dudes. As what I've noticed, but everybody's on their own gig. I'm definitely more into individuality, and I also understand, especially with weed, like some people can take dabs all day, and some people can't.
Yep.
That's where I'm kind of getting at, is the non-judgmental.
Yeah,
that's what I like about the cannabis community. Is very gay friendly.
Yes,
it's very diverse. And it also, it's just a little bit nicer and kinder.
Yeah, and I think that it's reflective on our staff. Like, our staff is completely diverse. We have gay, we have queer, we have trans, we have black, we have white, Hispanic. Everybody under the sun works here.
Old people.
We have older, we have younger.
Cats.
Yes, and when you come to Housing Works and shop with us, you're going to see somebody that reflects who you are, or somebody that you've never seen before. And that's what I really love about working at Housing Works and with such a diverse community. So
we can plug Housing Works and let people know that if you come to New York City, this is literally one of the cooler parts of town. You have Joe's Pub over here, which is like the building block of some of the early Broadway stuff and international artists. I saw Harder They Come came over here. They did a great reggae play from Jamaica that it was amazing. And I remember I bought a joint at Housing Works, and then I went over and I watched an amazing play. There's all these comedy clubs around here. There's music venues, and NYU's right here, right?
NYU's right up the block. Yeah. Definitely.
So it's a good neighborhood.
Oh, and Washington Square Park.
And Washington Square Park, which is legendary, right?
Definitely
for stoners.
Legendary for stoners. 420, it's going to be a zoo, like, for real. Every single year, it's crazy over there. Yeah.
Do you guys do a table of anything, or do you guys send the people over to the park?
So we don't do a table, but this year, because 420 falls on Easter, we're going to do an Easter hunt, an Easter egg hunt.
Oh,
and
cool.
Whoever finds the egg is going to win a grand prize from all of our brands. So, yeah.
I might have to come over here for that. That sounds amazing. And what kind of snacks do they serve the staff here?
So a lot of the times the brands bring anywhere from sushi to pizza to wings to Chipotle. Like, the bud tenders get fed.
The bud tenders
they get fed. When they get trained, it's really nice that the brands bring some food as an incentive to learn more about the product, and it's great. Yeah.
So all of your bud tenders here have a background on what's out there.
They absolutely do have a background. Everybody's required to have some sort of training before they start working here. And we make sure that they're interacting with the brands throughout the weeks that they're here, the months that they're here, so that they understand everything from how it was grown, the THC percentage, how it affects your cannabinoid system, and all those things.
Yeah. There is a little bit of finesse of being a bud tender.
Definitely.
And you have to be patient as well.
You do have to be patient, and I think that in the 2 years we've been open, our customers have completely changed. They're more educated. They're not just looking for the highest THC. They're looking for, like, what terpene profiles or how it's going to make your body feel. They're definitely educated, and I really attribute that to our bud tenders. So.
Yeah, the New York scene, people were ragging on the New York scene in the beginning, but it's caught up pretty fast.
Definitely.
To Colorado and in California, but they're both different. Like, all cannabis scenes everywhere. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and it blew up there. But it's the regulations a little odd. New York really seemed, I was impressed, as not being a New Yorker, somebody that lived in California, somebody that grew up in D.C., grew up on the East Coast, I was impressed that, it really did try to help the community.
It definitely did.
It
I
wasn't
like
all
that.
about money here.
No, they wanted to uplift people who are justice impacted or social equity
That's where I was
businesses.
trying to lead.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the reasons why we jumped on the opportunity to be the first in New York. We were a nonprofit, and the state understood that we were giving back 100% of our proceeds to our mission. So we were the first to open, and for that reason, yeah.
And so it feeds right back into the community. And it gives people jobs and gives people, it's just not somebody coming in, making a lot of money, buying up all the property, and then leaving.
Definitely not. That's what they wanted to avoid, so yeah.
Yeah, so they did do it. I interviewed Leanne Mata from Matawana, which is the first minority business owner, female of Brooklyn, New York, which I was proud to do that.
Love Leanne.
Yeah, Leanne's the best, the coolest. And so, Sasha, I appreciate your time and your effort here. Like, and besides music, you would stay at this job probably. It feels like you would stay at this job indefinitely if you wanted to.
I love this job. I love Housing Works. And I left Housing Works for 1 year out of my 10-year stint, and I came immediately back. It's a really great community that really develops your skills as a leader, and you just have to put the work in. I also want to mention we just opened our Housing Works Nomad location. It's right on 6th Avenue and 30th Street. That opened in December, and that just goes hand in hand with growing and feeding back into our mission. So.
And having an ethical, just knowing that this is not just some billionaire or a bunch of millionaires that got together and pooled their money together and said, hey, let's make a big thing of money together.
It's really important that we have these types of dispensaries in the industry because we don't want it to be like just a money grab. We have to give back to communities that were impacted. Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, and not to make it about me, but I was in San Francisco in 99 to 2003 when I just started performing stand-up comedy. And the gay neighborhood or the gay community were the ones that had the best weed and were the ones that were supplying the cancer patients, the AIDS patients, and Housing Works has been hand in hand with that. So I just want to give a shout out to the gay community with everything that's going on now and try to understand the history of those two, of the gay community coming out of the closet and then the legal cannabis community coming out of the closet at the same time, because they're weird parts of society that people, not everybody was ready for it, everybody knew, but there was a part of society that wasn't ready. And that will never accept. But people with an open heart and an open mind, it does make sense.
I agree with that, and I think that with this administration, we just have to be there for one another, especially the cannabis community and the queer community coming together to make sure that we are not erased.
Yes, that's what I agree too, that we just have to keep an eye on everything as we're going ahead. Now, in terms of Brooklyn and New York, do you have a favorite like smoke and hike or a favorite movie theater? What are some of the entertainment things, like if I was from out of town in talking to you that works at Housing Work, what would you tell somebody to do? And I was kind of a stoner.
If you are an outdoorsy stoner, Shirley Chisholm Park in Brooklyn. It's a national park. It's really great. They don't really allow dogs, but they might now. I snuck my dog in there before. And that's a great one if you want to just puff and hike. What else?
And you can rent bikes there.
You can rent bikes,
And you can see crazy birds.
Yes, you can see cool birds there too. I also love iPic Theater. I mean, it's pricey, but if you take an edible and just relax on the seats, you're gonna have a great time.
Shout out Glenn Ross. Bill Burr was on this podcast. And they're on Broadway right now. I'm not a Broadway cat, but the few times that I have been, it's been an amazing experience because the theaters are so old.
Yeah, they really are. They are.
They're like sitting in like history, and then the actors, like the theaters are built for the actors, and the sound is bouncing off. There's no place in the world that you could see that level of entertainment and acting and buy a free joint, or not a legal joint down the street.
You
can't do that in London right now. You might be able to do it in Amsterdam in a coffee shop, but it's still not the same vibe.
Not the same vibe, not at all.
Where do you stand with cannabis lounges or people? That's the one thing I think America hasn't got their head around is places where you could partake legally.
Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to when they legalize consumption lounges because
that's what I was trying to lead to.
Yeah, it's something that I feel so many people would have a great time, number one. And then it's a place for community. It's more building of community and sharing of ideas while you're high. So
yeah, it is all about community and sharing of the. I've been to Amsterdam once, and it was amazing to go into the coffee shops, and it did have that vibe. And that's what I always wish America would look at some of the places where it did work and where it didn't work. So New York should maybe take a look at Amsterdam, go study what worked over there, what didn't for their consumption lounge, and put it just in a part of a neighborhood that doesn't have a ton of schools, and just be like, okay, that's where those clubs are, you know?
It can work. They just got to do some research and figure it out.
Yeah, they got to do some research, and it all works out. We're all working it out. But those are great ideas. Broadway, and then Shirley Chisholm Park.
Yeah.
Is awesome. What about breakfast food? What's your go-to stoner breakfast food right now?
I mean, we're in New York, so bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yes.
That has to be it. And a coffee.
And a coffee. Yeah. And bacon, egg, and cheese is where it's at. And a coffee. Yeah, I've been switching it up. I put kimchi. Have you ever tried that?
I love kimchi.
Yeah. You go egg, kimchi on the bagel.
That's very Korean. I love that.
Yeah, because you get the spice.
Yes.
And you get the vegetables.
Yes.
We need the veggies. And so you kind of get the egg kick.
You heard it here, an elevated bacon, egg, and cheese. Yeah. Let's try it.
Let's try it. Sasha, it's so nice of you to invite me here at Housing Works. But they also, do you have, are you guys selling glass? Are you getting into that whole thing?
Yeah, we do have a nice accessories department upstairs. We have some Edie Parker. We have studding glass, the bongs. We have a few,
And Puffco's a big one probably out there.
Yeah, we have Puffco and Ongrog. We have a ton of glassware and pipes and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean, you guys have a good handle. Whoever came up with the model, you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
And and then your job, is there a lot of numbers involved? It sounds like, there's
a ton of numbers. I'm in budget land right now, preparing for next fiscal year. So there's labor lines, there's taxes to consider, there's cost of goods. There's a lot of things to consider when you're building a budget, and a big part of my job is to figure that out. So.
Yeah, you can't just go with what you like or who's the friendliest. You
have to look at the numbers.
What's moving?
Yes.
What's moving off the shelf right now?
It's really critical, and people may take offense to it, but it's really, at the end of the day, I have a mission to uphold and a business to drive, and it's all about really the numbers. And I think that when the brands engage with the bud tenders and come here, the bud tenders are more inclined to sell and learn more and just push that product a little bit because they know it's fresh in their heads. So that's why we have continuing bud tender trainings almost daily. Every other day we have them.
And having that between the bud tender and then these small farms and companies, building those relationships so they know each other.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of, I did sales early on, and a lot of it is just hanging out with somebody, having a coffee. You don't have to be best friends with somebody. You could just go get a sandwich, and you can learn a lot about, their business, and their life, and where they're coming from, if they're good or bad, and, keep it moving or stay with it.
Exactly.
And you guys are building these. And so that's kind of the community here in New York. It seems to be a lot of upstate small farms, some big ones, but are they? Is there some monopoly? Is there some Illuminati farms up there?
Not that I know of. I know there's obviously there's like big major players from other states, like a PAX that's here. That's Rove would be around.
PAX is growing weed now?
No, they're not growing weed. They're doing the pods.
The pods.
The pods and things like that. We have like
weed.
some of those.
That is the vapor that they do kind of. PAX started doing oils, so they have their own farms and stuff like that. But it's just amazing. of how cannabis kind of exploded during the pandemic when everybody was kind of moving upstate anyway. And now upstate has this like, I don't know, it seems to go up and down from the city to up north to these little farms and back down. A lot like Humboldt was to California and San Francisco, it seems like. Country meets the city.
Correct. And I think that people really appreciate that when they know it's from a smaller farm. They really do like appreciate and resonate with it. Like it's a New York thing.
Yeah, it's a New York thing, and I know these guys, and I know that they're good people, and they wouldn't rip me off, and everybody's just trying to put it together. But when it's comes from like, I don't know, when coffee came around, I put cannabis and coffee kind of in the same boat, and importing coffee from all these different when it first came, they would get all the beans from everywhere and then crush it up.
Yeah.
But until Starbucks and some of these other places were like, no, you need it
single source.
Single source. And that's where I see cannabis moving towards and building the relationships with the single source. And why I keep saying this, it means jobs, people. This is the new economy, and it means good, healthy jobs that are from the ground, not some tech internet thing that's going to disappear in 2 years.
Right. It's really about developing the farms, developing the businesses, and also developing the people who work in cannabis. So
in the relationships to the city, and I think cannabis. Do you think legalizing cannabis, and you being a native Brooklyn cat or person, do you think it's safer in New York now?
I do think it's safer in New York. I think that people are now educated on, legal versus illicit, and people are probably going to lean towards legal. And the good thing is that now the legal market has a lot of different price points. So now you have like a $7 pre-roll up to, a $200 ounce or whatever it is. There's something for everybody, so everybody can get their hands on something safe and quality.
You're 100% right, because that was the big thing on the street, was like, you can go to the bodega and get a 20 bag, or you can go to the legal spot and get a $50 bag. So that was the big complaint. But now those margins are starting to meet. And yes, please shop legal. Support Sasha, support legal cannabis. It means more than you think. Is how I see it. And it's for our kids, it's for our communities, and it's providing jobs and a safe alternative to cigarettes and alcohol that's out there. And the pills and the fentanyl as well. Like, that's another thing that came up, is the crazy big farm stuff. So big cannabis is kind of the one thing that's been neutralizing it a little bit.
Absolutely, yep.
And you probably do have people that come in here with cancer that are going through major stuff that get their cannabis here.
We have a lot of older and sick people who come, not sick like that, but like... ill people who come.
Some people have hip pain that will, like, what is that? Chronic pain.
Chronic pain is a big one.
They can't get rid of.
We have some 90-year-old people that shop with us for their chronic pain, for their arthritis. I have arthritis myself, and it does help me. It calms it down with inflammation. It's great. So
it does. The CBD rub will get your knees back on. It's anti-inflammatory.
There you go.
And everything is all about keeping the flame down. You don't want the inflammatory.
No.
You want the anti-inflammatory, which brings it back to the source.
Got it.
Now, switching back to music, I love that you love old it's not old. That's the R&B that I grew up with. New Edition is one of my favorite.
All right.
Can you stand the rain? Sunny days.
There you go.
Everyone has them.
Bobby, watch out now.
Watch out, Bobby. I'm ready for the tour. Just bring me out. Ricky, Bobby, Mike. So, you're saying that's kind of, you like singing.
I like to sing.
Can you sing on tune? Because
that wasn't don't put me on the spot, but I could sing on tune. I'm classically trained.
Yeah, that's what
For about 10 years, I was classically trained under a very popular vocal person. Her name is Jeannie Lovertree. Shout out. And I can do opera and things like that, but I digress.
Yeah. The opera's no joke. Don't.
That's a fun fact. That's
that's a fun. But you got to come from the diaphragm. You got to come from down here.
You do.
And it's probably good for, you could probably take a great bong hit.
Yeah, good lungs.
You got great lungs, could handle, yeah. But yeah, I just find it fascinating when cannabis and community and arts all kind of work together.
Yep, I agree. I think that it enhances your experience, especially if you're a creative. I also paint, and so on like Sundays is my painting day. I'll take an edible or I'll smoke a little bit and just start painting. It makes me my third eye open. So
That's amazing. And it gets you off your phone.
it definitely does. Yeah.
That's what I've been playing more of my acoustic guitar because it gets me off my phone.
Love that.
Yeah, and it's tactile. And
Yes.
the same thing with painting. I love, I got a new coloring book with dragons that I'm really
Love
into.
that.
Yeah, and I got for Christmas, my girl got me like 2,000 Sharpies. I got the illest
Love it.
collection of colored Sharpies, and I'm just coloring dragons all day long. But now with your painting, what are you doing? How big is your canvas? Are you
Not
getting the
that
big
big.
boys or the little guys?
It's like about 20 inches by 18 or something like that. And it's all abstract. It's very Picasso inspired, and yeah.
Oh, I love it. You're doing the screaming.
Yes, I'm doing a lot of that.
A lot of the stars.
With bold pop colors. Yeah.
Yeah. Surreal.
Yes, surreal.
Keep it surreal. And do you work with oils? What's your jam?
It's acrylic for now. I do want to get into oil, but it's acrylic, and I do a lot of the Posca markers, which are like the paint markers, acrylic markers. I love those.
Oh, that's so cool. Art is, people get into art, get into singing. Nothing's holding you back.
Yeah. Heal your inner child.
That's where it's at. We all went through stuff, especially they say 1 through 10 is when you go through the most stuff, and that's going to affect your whole
Your
life.
entire life, yeah.
And so if you got messed up before you were 10 years old,
Sorry.
yeah, work on it. Yeah, sorry. I fell out of a moving car. That's why the
wow.
reason I am the way I am. And cannabis has been there for me,
There you go.
working through all my demons. People say, just as an older cat born in 1972, like, oh, I can't smoke cannabis because, I started thinking about things. No, think about those things.
Yeah.
Work with your shadow. Check out Carl Jung. Am I saying that guy right?
Carl Jung, yeah.
Yeah, Carl Jung.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to hip you that I was listening to? Carl Jung said life starts at age 40.
Wow.
You
Coming up for me.
Yeah, you're about to blow up. You don't even know. You're just pretty much learning and surviving this chaos that it is until, if you can make it to 40, do your push-ups, drink your juice, be nice to your mom, get out there, try to do what you love. If you don't, just keep it moving.
All of that, yep.
And be positive. But we're at the 40-minute. I know you're busy. We have people coming here. You got emails, but you've been kind enough to spend some time with me. Matt, what time are we at?
42.
All right.
42 minutes. Okay. But Sasha Nutgent, did I pronounce it right?
You did, yes. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And I want people to know that you are a singer.
Thank you.
You are a songwriter, and you are a cannabis executive,
Yes.
but also a pioneer.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. And I'm getting the word out. And I'm getting the word out about New York because it is doing, it feels, it's not perfect, but it feels like you guys are doing it right, especially
Trying.
at Housing Works.
We are trying, and we love your support, so thank you so much for even having me.
Sasha, is there anything you want to give to the good people of the universe, of the internet and beyond? What's something, if you had to go, you just wanted to leave it out there?
I want to bring it back to our mission. We help underserved people living with and affected by HIV, AIDS, and homelessness.
Yeah.
So every single dollar that you spend with us, and even at our thrift shops, makes a huge difference and an impact on so many people's lives. So thank you for supporting us if you have, and stop on by if you want to support a great mission.
That's great, Sasha. That is amazing. Like, I never even equated me buying weed helping the homeless. But at the end of the day, that's what you're doing here at Housing Works. And you're helping people. And it's not just people with AIDS. It's AIDS tests. It's,
Job training.
Job training.
Healthcare.
Getting people up and out. You know, McDonald's ain't gonna do this. Starbucks ain't gonna do this. They're thinking about the dollar, you know, the last dollar and the bottom line. Nonprofit community is where it's at. Sasha,
Yes.
thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have
All
a
right.
great one.
This is it for the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Peace and love.
Bye.
Out.